6 weeks ago, I ended my teaching career, sort of a 7-8 year career. I dropped out mid-term. This video is an attempt to do a bit of a progress check, just to reflect on the last 6 weeks since I left teaching, to talk about some of the things I've done, some of the successes, also some of the concerns and worries I have moving forward. I'll talk about the financial side of things, how I've supported myself. I'll talk about the emotional side, just kind of my mindset. And then I'll end on a bit of wisdom just for coping with these kind of transitional phases in life. The financial side of things. It's a bit of a shock to the system when you leave a job like teaching and you wake up and realise that the security of a job like that has now gone. You know, I've been in employment for 10 years and I've never really had to worry about, just knowing that there's money coming in. The first thing I did was to take a pretty cold, hard look at my finances, to itemize and to budget and to kind of figure out how much I needed to make each month. I put that figure in the region of £800 just to break even, get the bills paid. The purpose isn't to kind of earn loads of money at this stage. The purpose is just to kind of stay afloat whilst I figure out what I want to do with life. Before I actually left teaching, I set up an online tutoring profile, started speaking to potential students, and I had a few lined up for the week that I left teaching. So the very next week after leaving teaching, I was tutoring online. I had about 3 students. The week after that, I had about 5. Then I had 9, and I'm up to about 12 or 13 online students now. Online tutoring works pretty well. It's a mixed bag. Some of the students are really motivated. The older ones, the ones with exams, are in the exam years. Some of the younger students are a bit harder, a bit slightly less motivated. And probably the hardest to work with are the students that are from the National Tutoring Programme, which is a kind of government-sponsored tutoring program. Overall, the tutoring it's achieved its goal of getting the bills paid, and I'll probably earn in the region of £900 a month for the time being. As well as tutoring, I had the idea to look into academic proofreading. I have a friend who left teaching actually and has been a proofreader for the last 5 years. It's basically just proofreading academic work. It could be undergraduate level right up to PhDs, usually of students who speak English as a foreign language. So it's about correcting the language and also putting the papers into kind of proper academic style. I absolutely buried myself into this application for this proofreading. I spent about 3 or 4 days doing these online tests. So I'm really hoping that one will come through. It'll cover me over summer when the tutoring kind of tails off. Obviously at the moment, the goal with the finances is not to be the richest man in the world. It's just to have a bit of breathing space, get the bills paid, and kind of be able to see things out over the medium term whilst I try to figure out my next steps. In terms of the emotional side of having left teaching, you have to remember I left for mental well-being reasons. So naturally, having removed myself from the teaching environment, there's a big uplift in terms of just my overall feeling of calm, I would say. It's nice not to have to experience that kind of pressure cooker atmosphere of a school, not to suppress that kind of frustration and anger that you feel often through the school day, or at least I did. There's obviously a benefit there. But that's not to say that kind of being at home and being kind of semi-employed with this uncertain future, obviously that's got mental challenges as well. And I can see why people kind of cling on to secure jobs, even in often dire circumstances, because it's hard to not know what the medium and long-term future are going to look like. But I suppose that is the adventure of life. We want to believe that the future is certain. We want to have it mapped out. And when that's kind of removed, it can be deeply unsettling at times. And I've definitely had days where I feel, less positive, where I feel, a bit of despair at times. But those are usually at the moment balanced out by days where I feel a kind of spirit of possibility, and I feel like things are achievable, and it's possible to change. And at the moment, I really do think that. But yeah, I can't deny that there are times where it's hard. And that leads me on to the last bit of this video, which is the piece of wisdom that I've come across that has helped me most in this period. It's really easy to be overwhelmed at a time like this, to look at all the obstacles and to only see the problems, the challenges. So the bit of wisdom is really just, don't look at the mountain, just look at the next step. When you consider the mountain too much and project too much into the future, the challenge is obviously kind of insurmountable, unassailable. But if you just wake up each day and just try and chip away at something small, try and be intentional, try and be purposeful in kind of small ways, focus on those achievable goals, I think that's a much more kind of productive and happy way to proceed, because otherwise you just kind of sink under the weight of this massive thing. Thanks a lot for watching, and I hope to see you again soon.